Next up is Bongani, our next speaker, the salesman. He'll be speaking on how not to market your business. Yo, man, I thought I was marketing it nicely. Kanti, there's a way of how not to market your business. How not to market your business, a sales perspective. Briefly, who is Bongani? Bongani's dream of African brand stories was reignited through the growth of HDI collectives. This passion has led to HDI expanding its presence in 2 more markets, Zambia and Ghana, adding to Nigeria, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda. In May 2020, inspired by his entrepreneurial hunger, he transitioned from being CEO of HDI to founder of Diaries of a Salesman and managing director of Bravado, a brave group company. Bongani is with us in the building. How not to market your business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Bongani. Why are you guys being so personal? Because of the title. Let's show Bongani some love. Come on. Over to you, brother.
Thanks, my bro. Okay, all right, now I can see it. I was nervous that I couldn't see my slides. So, if anything, I want to leave with you this today. With time comes experience. With experience comes credibility. Why I say that is I've been here before. And I know you guys are looking at me like, oh, this guy, he's got it all together. And actually not. Because with time comes experience and comes the credibility to be here to share the story. So I'm quite humbled, right? Forget about my topic. I just had to make it up for the agenda. So I'm going to go all over. But I want to tell you my story, right? It was about April 2026. I was broke. My personal credit card debt was about 160,000 Rand, which I think I finished paying off 2 months ago. My business was $1 million of debt. My business had failed. I was now employed by a competitor. And I was at the office. I had 3 panic attacks that day. And I went home. In the middle of the night, I took painkillers. And I wanted it all to end. And at that moment, I saw my son. He was in Santon with a very beautiful young lady, and they were having a conversation. And this young lady says, but you never speak about your dad. And guys, you need to realize this is like, I've got painkillers in my stomach. But I'm seeing my son having this conversation with this beautiful young lady. He says, you never talk about your dad, you always talk about your mom. And he had to answer because I think he wanted to propose. I don't know what was going on. But he says, I'm ashamed to talk about my dad because my dad committed suicide. And immediately I went to the toilet, vomited. The next day I was checked into Akiso Clinic in Parkland Clinic for 3 weeks to be treated for depression. I was still broke. I still had credit card debt. But that was 2016, and here I am today. So again, guys, with time and experience comes credibility. So be patient with yourselves as entrepreneurs. Because I know you're here writing notes, and you're hoping that Monday things are going to change. With time, experience, credibility. Okay, so let's go to my slides. Today I want to maybe go to, I said the topic was just J. So let's go. Is it moving? Okay, you can forget about this. Okay, I want us to have a mind shift change today about how we look at our businesses and ourselves as entrepreneurs. Because most of the things that are out there put us under pressure unnecessarily. I hate Entrepreneur Magazine. And I hate it because I think it put me so much under pressure when I was running my first business. Because you see, from 0 to 300 million in 6 years. And you're like, God, like I'm only on like 25,000 turnover. When am I going to get to my 300 million? So I want us to have a mind shift change, right? Next slide, Chief. So who wants to be a CEO here? Who wants to be a CEO? You guys are CEOs. Why do you want to be a CEO? It's nice. So you walk in, you've got the step, hey, I own a business. What if I told you, next slide please, you need to aim to be the chief sales officer of your business? Because I think, and my experience was, and I see it a lot on social media, people have got all these big titles and they like posting everywhere, no, hitting the hustle, hitting the streets, I'm Mr. So-and-so, I'm the CEO of what. The other day I posted to say, they say fake it until you make it, right? But many of us remain in faking it. You're not selling anything, you're posting, you're too much into the hype, and you're not delivering for your customers. Now, when you look at Steve Jobs, he was the chief sales officer for Apple. Every picture you Google on the internet of Steve Jobs, I think 90% of it was when he was making his presentations of new products. Because that's what he was passionate about. He was passionate about making his product great, making the service great. So when you see yourself as a chief sales officer, every morning you get up and think, how do we get better as a business? How do we service our clients better? I say it, and I'll say it to you now, I'm the best salesperson in South Africa. And I'm not even shy to say it. My clients know it. And they sometimes say, okay, Bongani, stop selling to us. It's okay, not today. Because I get obsessed in terms of, are we delivering a great service? What did we get right? How do we improve this? How do we upsell here? How do we stop doing this? So you need to look at yourself as a chief sales officer. Now, the one thing about sales, it's about storytelling. Because all of us, from a young age, we've been conditioned to listen to stories. TV is about stories. Your mother told you stories. Your grandmother told you. When you go to the rural areas or visit your grandmother, it was all about storytelling and story doing. So I always say, people don't buy products or services. People buy people. I've learned this. You can have the best product. If the client doesn't like you, or you don't get along, or they won't buy from you. That is why rude people will never succeed in business, because they are rude. So they're unable to connect with other people. So the question that you need to ask yourself, if you need to write any notes, is what is your story and what is the story about your business? Because people will buy that, right? Now, it was in the middle of COVID. I was the CEO. I've been CEO before of the biggest youth company then in marketing. It was part of a bigger advertising group. It was the 15th of May, I remember very well. My CEO phoned me and he says we needed to talk. So I was employed then. And he says, Bongani, we're closing HDI and you don't have a job anymore. There's no job for you in the group. Cheers, thanks for playing. So I said, but Chief, like, okay, we've got 30 people in the agency. We're trying to shift. When are we closing HDI? He says, no, 31st of May, we're done. You're out. Please contact HR on Monday. They'll tell you what your package we're paying you out at. Wait, don't tell the staff, I'll tell them. This is a proper conversation. 15th of May, 2020. I was scared for a bit. Then I realized one thing, that if they don't value me, I'll value myself. So I said, cool, sharp. Negotiated, exited HDI on when was this? At the end of May, 31st of May, I remember packing, leaving, and all my colleagues, all the other CEOs of the other agencies, no cheers, Bongani, these are people who used to drink together, I left, but I knew that if I don't value myself in this situation, remember when I got depressed and tried to commit suicide? The cycle will repeat. So I decided I'm going to be my own man and go out. So next slide. You need to build a brand and not a logo. It's very important. Because the first thing that you do is, I'm going to open a company, what's my logo going to look like? Okay? It's fine because a logo is an identifier, but you need to build a brand. And your brand must capture a sentiment. Right? And then you say, Bongani, what are you talking about? So if you go to the next slide, I decided, because I'm so passionate about sales, I decided I'm going to have a brand called Diaries of a Salesman. I needed to give credibility to myself. I needed to believe in myself. So what I needed to do is to have an identifier for me personally to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. Right? And beyond that, I've built 3 things. I'm a co-founder and a shareholder in Bravado. Remember, I was an employee, ne? But now, I'm a shareholder, co-founder, and managing director. The managing director part is legalese for board things. I see myself as the chief salesman of my business. So, the next thing, I decided I'm going to talk about success and share my journey with other people. We decided with Guguleti Mfupi from KFM, we're going to have a podcast called The Family Table. All right? Remember, this is all in COVID. Everybody's like, COVID. I was like, there's no COVID for me. I'm going to push and give credibility to myself. I didn't cry, I didn't weep. It was painful being not Mr. CEO anymore, because being a CEO of a good agency, it opens doors. So now again, I'm back on the street trying to open doors, but I said, you know what, it's okay. The next thing that I did, and this was earlier this year, I decided to give back to the depression and anxiety community. And by doing that, I decided to cycle in a race from Hatties to Sun City and raised money for the depression and anxiety group. Again, build a brand and not a logo, and your brand needs to have a sentiment. The sentiment I'm trying to communicate here is that as a salesman, I deliver for myself personally, but also for my clients. So when people go onto my Instagram and I'm saying I'm doing this, there's evidence to show for it. Many of us say we're doing this, but there's no evidence. Because where are we stuck? In the faking it. So if you go to the next slide, there we go. Bravado, thankfully, has got Nedbank as a client, Transnet, Unilever, Tiger Brands, and all this since 2020. Ne? Tiger Brands, I'm not going to tell you my turnover because some of my clients are here. But it's again, guys, building the sentiment. When it goes to the family table with Gugu Mfupi, guys, I used to love, growing up in Malawi, I loved Oscar. Oscar Warona, the great Oscar Warona, was our first person we sat with at the family table. Yeah, I was a fan that day. I had to stop myself, I was like, Oscar is here. But again, guys, the sentiment is you put your word out there into the universe with friends, and great things happen. Through your network, and remember, your credibility is important, because your network won't give you anything if you don't show a sentiment of delivery. Correct. And then I did finish the cycle. I think I did it in 9 hours or something, and raised 42,000 Rand and gave it to the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. And why I did that, again, for me, it was in my time of pain and despair, I phoned them, and they're the ones that said, tomorrow morning, you need to go to the hospital, check yourself in here. And I didn't want, with the 42,000 was through friends, relatives, strangers. We ran a Back a Buddy campaign. I think our PR, I spent personally 10,000 Rand on this campaign, but the PR value that we raised was about 1.6 million. I was everywhere, Metro FM, Kaya, mention a radio station. I was in it, again, talking about depression and anxiety. So guys, build a brand and not a logo. Very important. Next slide, please. What business are you in? Just by the show of hands, what business are you in, Chief? Food. Okay. Anybody else? Events. Okay. Education. All right. Manufacturing. Next slide. So, my ID was, I had my ID in my pocket, the green coded bar ID. And I think our helpers washed it 3 or 4 times, because I always use, and I don't carry it anymore because it's all messed up. And that was about 3 years ago. I get anxiety to go to Home Affairs to sort it out. And I'll tell you why, which is the next slide. We are not in the services and products business. We are in the experience and feeling business. The feeling of being stuck in a queue for the whole day to get my ID sorted gives me anxiety. Eskom, by not supplying us electricity, it's not an electricity issue. It's how it makes us feel. It's how this experience of being in the dark, being a parent whose child is in matric and they can't study, all the things about that. So it's not a load shedding, there's no lights issue. It's how it makes us feel. It's when SAA was terrible at what they were doing, the first thing you'd phone, like, you guys, this is how I'm late about. You don't say, no, your plane is, you don't mention the product. You talk about how you're feeling. So it's important, as much as you do food, and the question was asked earlier on, is what's the difference with your food? It's the experience. Chief, you can make all the best food you want. Your chicken can be great. But when I come to your restaurant and it's cold and I'm not served very well, I'm not going to come back. Your chicken will always be great, but it's how you've made me feel. It's about the experience. So when I talk about not how to market, because everybody's like, no, we've got the best hair products. Okay. But so does Mr. Jabu, yeah. But the reason why he got here, it's the experience that people used to have when they go to his stores. Guys, and it might sound like I'm bragging. I used to believe, because I do a cheese corp, I used to believe I would never pay 50 Rand, more than 50 Rand, for a cheese corp. Hey guys, then I went to Sobe. Sobe men, I get there, they give me a scalp treatment. The other day they were like, yo, Bongani, what do you want to drink? And me, I'm a whiskey guy. They're like, do you want water, juice? This was Tuesday, Women's Day. Do you want a whiskey? I mean, I'm like, hey, okay, there's my whiskey, scalp treatment. Guys, I used to believe that 50 Rand was good for a cheese corp. And you could even get it down the road here. In fact, you could even give yourself a cheese corp at home. But for me, going to Sobe has become therapeutic. It's an experience. I sit there, they wash my hair, and then when I'm getting out, they're like, Bongani, it's 450 today. I'll be, guys, when you've done well, you need to spoil yourself. Entrepreneurship is just too damn hard not to spoil yourself. I promise you, even right now, if you're not even making a lot of money, have that mindset. Right? If it's been a good month and you drink Red Label, just maybe that day, go up a bit and order Gold Label. Just even if it's 2 glasses. Your mindset will always be like, I've done well, this is it. Guys, we can't just suffer. We can't, I don't like the preaching of, we're hustling. No. So me now, I'll pay $450 for my hair, trust me. Because I go there, it's therapeutic. My birthday is coming up on the 22nd of August. I've planned the Sunday, I'm going to do my nails, my feet. Because guys, I work just too damn hard. So, again, guys, what Sobe has done for the 50 Rand cheese cop, and then they'll give you nose wax and all these things. I think if you're not careful, you can come out 1,000 Rand. But me now, I'm fine for 50 for now. But they've created an experience about men's grooming. It was never there. I mean, guys, sometimes you walk into the shopping mall, and then you just see ashy feet. Guys, look after yourself, Anyway, I'm digressing. Next slide. Why do builders have such a bad reputation? I personally will never recommend any builder to anybody else. Why do you think builders have got such a bad reputation? Sorry? Hygiene, okay. Anybody else? Yeah? They do have crap job. Overpromise can't deliver. Do you know what builders don't get? Building somebody's home, it's the most intimate thing you ever do for that person. It's very personal. But then they'll speak about bricks and mortar. Okay, no cement, 5 bags. Then you order 5 bags, then they'll tell you another 15. But you're like, dude, but how? Bricks, no, and they don't care. But you are emotionally invested in it. And by the time they're done with you, you're broken. You're sitting there, and then you're like, but this tile, and you just get heart palpitations. You're like, this person didn't, because it's not about the tile. And women will tell you, they will tell you that, Mina, if I want a blue tile, you have to get me a blue tile. Can't say, no, but this is a greenish blue. They'll always say, remember, the greenish blue, I wanted a blue tile. But because the builder just decided to deliver and the money was gone. So why builders sometimes don't get repeat business, it's this. Next slide. And I liked it, he referred to it, is our ambition should not be to have customers, but to have advocates. And what is an advocate? I want our clients at Bravado to be at a braai with their friends in the industry, and they're like, we're looking for a great ad agency. And those people need to say, call Bongani at Bravado. Every client interaction, every customer interaction is your opportunity to have an advocate. Going back to creating experiences and feelings. If you leave people with good feelings and experiences, they will shout, you'll be like, that salon, don't go there, go to this person. That hair product, that food place. But if you just want customers because you want to make money and you don't want to have advocates, it's fine. You probably get along for a certain point, and then the repeat business stops coming, and then new business stops coming, and you dry up and you don't realize what happened. So it's important to create advocates in terms of what you do. The last 5th point, let's go. We are in the world where content is king. Now I'm going to get into a bit of marketing. Guys, forget about advertising. I got 3 boys, 16, 12, and 11. They don't even know what channel SABC1 is. I think even JJ here, Jabu Jr. When was the last time you watched DSTV?
Yesterday.
Really? Okay, I guess I'm wrong. But when was the last time you were on YouTube?
This morning.
There you go. So forget about the traditional ways of advertising. So you should just go to the next slide. So this side shows you TV, radio, magazine, for those who still believe in magazines, is that the reason why those channels are struggling and almost getting to a place of failing is because everything was scheduled. So the advertising people will be like, please get a slot on Generations, because the rest of South Africa is watching Generations. And SABC One would charge the most for Generations. That's why all the clientele ads are around 10 o'clock when no one cares. All the Omo ads are late at night because it's scheduled. And the other thing is that it's very generic. It's like they'll say, okay, this is how they calculate. So if there's this amount of people, this is how much you want to spend. Maybe the people that watch Generations are black, stay in Katlehong, and this is what we're going to serve them in terms of an advert. What has happened now, I won't even ask who's got a cell phone. What has happened now, the cell phone has taken everything and put it into one thing. It's not about calling anymore. I call us the Netflix generation. You can sit at an airport bored or at a bus station or waiting for people here because we are all running late and open a Netflix account and start streaming in 2 minutes. And what is that? Content. So when you see people on TikTok, on YouTube, and all that, is because they're consuming personalized things. We all can be here. On our cell phones, I bet you we're watching different things. Unless it's the big Springbok game today or a big soccer game. I wanted to say Bafana, but Banyana game, you know. But everybody can be watching different things at one time. But there was a time where when the TV is on at home, the TV is on. If Ubaba is watching soccer, we're all going to have to watch soccer. If Mommy is watching Generations, we're all watching Generations. And for those that are blessed to have one or more devices, everybody's watching different things in the house. Some are on TikTok laughing, YouTube, Instagram, and you can even sit and decide that your Instagram feed just serves you food influencers and nothing else. But before, you used to wonder, where am I going to get inspiration for food? I always say, somebody can actually be in the middle of Katlehong, for example, and create content that makes everybody feel they're in the United States and you don't know it. That's the power of digital and content. So guys, forget advertising. What content are you creating for yourself? The young man here who presented, and everybody was great, guys. The security property company. What content are you creating for me to feel unsafe so that when I engage with you, I feel safe? Right? For me, that's the power of content. You create a situation and then you say, this is our solution. And guys, I raised 42,000 Rand using my social media channels. That's it. I created a sentiment, I created a story, I created a brand, and people would follow me. I would post my training at the gym, cycling, all the way, and people followed me, and people were invested. There are days where I didn't post, they're like, Chief, what's going on with the training? Because you're carrying people along. Just don't fake it, please. You're carrying people along, because ultimately people become vested in your success. People become like, I keep using the chief with the food. Show yourself buying the chicken, choosing the best chicken, adding the spices, deliver good service, a good experience. But doing the whole thing, people become vested and they want to be advocates, and you take them along the journey. But then you can put a poster and say, we make great chicken. Who cares? Because everybody else makes great chicken. Who cares? Because everybody else is into low-cost housing and security. So create the content that's shareable, that's share-worthy by your advocates. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. Hey, Chief, it says present and Q&A, so just wait. Let's do Q&A. Wait. You're quick. I want the gifts. I want to see what's inside. But let's do a Q&A. 3 questions and then we're good.
Questions? Wait. One day. Question? 2. Last one? 3. All right.
Ladies first. Shiva is not dead. You don't need to stand, it's fine.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I used to hate standing at school.
Okay. Sanwanan, Nenjani, Sepila. My name is Ndombi Hlachwayo, Managing Director for Zimbabwe Women's Organization. It's my first time coming here, and I had a question. If you have an empowerment company and you want to empower the township, how best would you give an advice to a person who's starting that initiative to go forward?
So, the one thing that you need to do is to be very clear about who you're empowering and how you're empowering them and why it matters, right? It becomes a challenge for people. So empowerment is a big thing, right? Is it women empowerment? If it's women empowerment, what sort of women, what challenges are they facing, and why should they choose you, right? Because I can even show up here and say, I can empower women, right? You might not believe me, but I probably can, because I'll say, okay, cool, we've got 3 jobs at Bravado, here we go, come work. So you need to be very clear in terms of why you, and what difference would they see, and what are your proof points. Again, content, who have you empowered? Or even if it's just you identify, this is how I was feeling when I was unemployed, but when I started my business, I felt purpose. Every day I was waking up and and this is the feeling that I want women to have. So you start selling feeling and experience. Good? Sharp.
Good day, everybody. My question is, okay, everybody, I have a YouTube page, Menito TV, MANNITO TV. If you want to go subscribe or come meet me, if you don't have data, I'll hotspot you, no problem. So my question is, because like I was saying, I have a YouTube page, but then I have a problem, because like what I'm trying to do is, I do animation. I'm trying to do it for the people over here, obviously, like stories they can relate to. But then I have problems with data and stuff like that. Like people cannot reach my content. Usually the people that do reach my content is people from the outside. So I want to know, like, how do I improve that to have people that are actually around me supporting the page? Because what I tried to do was send videos manually, like from phone to phone, but that doesn't help on a digital platform because the views don't go up and everything. So I just wanted to know, how do I tackle that problem? Thank you.
Okay, so I'll first start with your mindset. You keep saying problem, I can't, it's not happening, so you need to get out of that mindset, right? Because people here have got data. I promise you they're on TikTok. They are using their data here. So it's not that they don't have the data. They are consuming other content. And then the question is, why you? And you've mentioned about animation, but I don't know what animation, like what are your videos doing? How are they helping us here? So once you start sharing that content, makes it, so why should we engage with you? We'll stop watching funny TikTok videos and engage with you. So if it's about safety, it's about, even if it's about school, if it's, I don't know what it is, but you need to be very clear. So when you open a conversation, is to say, guys, this is what I do, and this is where you can find me, and this is why it will benefit you. You with me? Because if you say, if you don't have data, already people are like, so if I go to him and hotspot, I'll feel crap because I don't have data, you know? So I'm not going to engage with them. People have got data. They all registered, they all Instagram, people are going to post themselves by everywhere. So the data is there. It's just, why should we spend our data with you? Okay, cool. We can chat more after. Last one, Chief.
Molweni. My name is Letlodona. I have a printing and branding company. So when you're talking about content, well, it's actually doing good on TikTok. Numbers are growing. Well, I don't have a YouTube account, so I believe we would say on TikTok it is where most people are. Unlike TikTok, I think abantu abaninzi are rooting to TikTok. So I wanted to know what for podcast. I saw Ileto Panaga podcast with how do you market on podcast. At first, when I saw the podcast thing, I thought also you should have a podcast. But then again, I thought maybe you're supposed to maybe Osbu Mekji, then give them your details, because I've seen on Umekji's thing, they always advertise for people there. Okay, and into food, I think I've been more into the social media space, marketing on Facebook, marketing on Instagram and stuff. Recently, we've tried opening something like this where it's a market, but it's in Maboning. But now, that question how do we get sponsors? Because number one, how do you go and get sponsors? Who do you contact in order for you to get sponsors? What else? Yeah, I think my main problem is getting sponsors. Then maybe when we get sponsors, we'll be able to use the funds for marketing, and because now we are just using TikTok, and most of people that are on my TikTok page, they are not from Joburg. So it's pointless for me to advertise on TikTok, whereas I'm advertising to someone who's in the Eastern Cape. That person won't come in land.
Okay, so let me answer that. There's a guy I know called Bulelani. This guy built a brand called Tea. This guy went into the townships and started to speaking to entrepreneurs. This guy brought entrepreneurs together. Then this guy decided to contact a green bank and said, I can bring 300 people together. Don't you want to speak to entrepreneurs? And the green bank says, yes, we do. And then he says, this is how much it costs. What I'm trying to get to is that when we're looking for sponsorships, we go with our need and not the sponsor's need. There is a lot of money out there for sponsorships. But they'll tell you to say, Chief, if you want 1 million rand, what are you going to give me? Because we'll go there, no, I want to do this, I want to empower entrepreneurs, I want to empower women. Okay, brands are very selfish, they've got their own agenda. They'll say, okay, fine, but what is in it for us? So from a sponsorship perspective, that's the answer I can give you.
Sorry,
Yes.
they can't hear you.
Okay, that's the last question.
Hi everyone, my name is Sipesi Hlelosi from ILOC Event Staffing. So I basically trained the youth and equipped them with skills in the hospitality industry, and then I offer them jobs within South Africa. Sure. I wanted to find out, when you spoke about marketing, I'm having a little bit of difficulty marketing, management, and coordination services. Like for instance, if I'm booked for an event, to coordinate, which is basically just run the event, making sure it's smoothly, but I can't necessarily like show it on social media. How do I basically show those services? How do I market and advertise, coordinating and making sure that people are managed and coordinated at events?
So there's one major thing actually two, that clients hate about marketing coordinating companies, is that when we say we're starting at 8 o'clock and your staff need to be there at 8 o'clock, at 8:30, Lebo, where are you? John, they're coming. We agreed 8 o'clock. Sell efficiency and time. That's what you can show, to say, guys, you can even do live, where we're supposed to start at 8 o'clock, my staff are here, 7:30, everybody's, because at 8 o'clock we're starting, but then many of people in this space, at 8:30, the promoters are in the bathroom, the client is stressed. Remember, feeling and experience. Once they've given you their responsibility, they want to come here, sit, and get on with their stuff. They don't want to then manage you to manage your people. You with me? So that's the first part. The second part is you can showcase the sort of staff and diversity around it. So if it's a youth event, you've got youth staff. If it's probably like an olderish event, yes, you've got still it's youth, but maybe it's maybe youth in the 26-year-olds because it's a more serious event than you're having like 19-year-olds and stuff. So you can show that you think about how you even staff. So it's just not, okay, so it's this, you're sending these people. If it's that, you're sending these people. You can even show that you're quite diverse in terms of race, gender, and all that. And you can showcase that on your social pages. Because what clients will think, oh, okay, because everybody's empowering youth. Yes for Youth is empowering youth. Everybody, I'm at Bravado, we're empowering youth. So you need to decide how you're going to show how you're empowering youth. And on that note, thank you. Where's my staff? I came here for the nice goodies. I'm joking. But I'm looking forward to Brajabu's book.
Thank you so much. Your time. Oh. Before you get the gift, you need to get a photo. The mic.
I don't know what to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together one more time for Bongani. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Much appreciated.